Hi everyone, welcome to Table for Two. I am the Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie.
And today we are covering games that are from the letters A to Z, and today we're doing the letter E. So these are games that we own or have owned. They are, these are games that kind of stand out to us. So it could be that we're not covering all of our games, or it could be that there's something that we just chose not to mention at this time. And these are going to be base games only. We're going to do the expansions at another time. And we're also going to group variations together. So like all the fluxes together, all the villainesses together, things like that. All right. And then the last one that we mentioned will be our number one pick. So with that, Onezie.
All right. So we're talking about games with the letter E.
Let's start with the E.
Start with the letter E.
Mm-hmm.
Not with the letter E.
Some of them
a lot of games.
There's a lot of games that have an E.
All right. The first one I want to mention is Exploding Kittens. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a card game. You're playing different cats and pairs of cats.
Yeah.
You try to get rid of all your cards before you draw an exploding kitten. And the game is rigged as such that somebody will be exploded. You can't go through the whole game without somebody exploding.
Right.
So, and the thing I really liked most about this game is that when we got it, there is a box. You open the box, and there's a battery in there, and it does a little meow as you open the box, which is super cute.
Yeah, and that's actually one of my games as well. It's sort of like a, it's by the Oatmeal, the illustrations, so this may look familiar to some people. It just reminds me of like an old maid with a tongue-in-cheek kind of approach to it, very sarcastic. But I do like the game. It's very simple to understand, simple to play, good warm-up.
All right, so what's one of your E games?
Okay, one of my E games is a game that is called Escape Curse of the Temple. It is a tile laying game and a dice rolling game. So what you're trying to do is you set on a timer. You have these dice that you're going to roll that will allow you to move room to room if you fulfill the icons that are listed on each tile. The goal is to collect all of the gems before you make it your way out of the temple, but sometimes you may accidentally roll a black die face. And if you do that, you're frozen and you need someone to come in and roll gold faces for you, or maybe if you don't have enough dice to roll it, somebody else can come in and rescue you. Super fun. It's such as like D&D has got dungeon crawlers, is more like a temple crawler because you'll keep laying out tiles as you go through the game. So,
all right. So let's talk about the roll and write version of that game.
Okay.
There's an escape roll and write version. Tell us a little bit how the roll and write differs from the normal game.
Oh, sure. So in the roll and write version, you still have dice that you're rolling, except one thing that I really like about it is that if it's my turn, I'm rolling the dice and I'm going to take certain dice to do my actions, but then my partner gets to pick, it's still a co-op game, gets to pick one of the dice that they want to use for a later set collection, a later fulfillment. So they all have different powers, different abilities on there, and it's a great game. We like taking this one actually to the park. Easy to play if it's windy because you're just rolling dice and then writing things on a pad.
All right, and I believe that brings me up to my number one. Where are you at?
I have two more games. One of them is my number one, and then I have something else.
So do one more then.
Okay, I will. So one of my games is Endless Winter Paleo Americans. I love this game. It is a worker placement Euro style type of game where you have certain tribesmen that you're sending out. You could also deck build and put new cards into your deck. You can create totems. You can travel out with your tribe and start expanding into different territories. There's so many things that you can do. And I mean, it's kind of crazy because you can't do everything, but boy, don't you know, I wish that you could. Because it's usually towards the very end that you're just like, I really need a bunch of this, but I need a bunch of that, and I need this. I have to pick which direction I'm going to go. So it was a game that has been sitting on the counter. Shame I hate to say this, I think for almost 2 years, but we finally played it, and I love it.
Yeah, I like worker placement games in general, and I like this one as well. And I like it that there's multiple ways to get points and multiple goals. So you're not really competing over the exact same thing. You're just competing to get points in general.
Right. There are times when it's like, who is the first one who's going to get to this objective or this particular tile, but the whole thing really works out well. Okay.
Right, and that brings us up to our number one pick.
I suspect it's the same game.
Shall we say it at the same time?
Sure.
Earth. All right, so I picked Earth. It's a card game. And you lay out a tableau of cards as you build your ecosystem. Plants, animals, with the cards. And each kind of card has different actions that you can do on it. Each turn. So on an active player's turn, they'll choose a certain thing to do. The other player can do that thing, or they can do the thing that they did last time. So there's something to do on the other player's turn. You're not sitting around waiting for people to finish their turn before you get to do stuff.
Right, simultaneous action.
And the more cards you put out in your tableau, the more actions you have to do, or that you can do. So, say I put, my marker on my turn into the orange action. It's going to trigger all the orange abilities on all my cards, but it's going to trigger them in order. So how I laid them out initially is going to matter. Right. And so that's Earth. I love Earth. It's fun. It doesn't take that long, and it's a fun game to play.
Yeah, I really like Earth because of the simultaneous action. I mean, I really like to constantly be going, taking my turn, but at the same time, there's so much strategy in this game. Like it's, as you mentioned, the tableau, trying to figure out where's the most advantageous placement of this card because it needs to fulfill this objective, but if I put it down here, it'll fulfill this objective. Which one would get me more points? Well, I would get more points if I placed it lower down, but if I place it higher up, I can take advantage of the benefit and that'll carry on. So there's a lot of thought that you can put into it. A lot of animals that, you have the ability to sustain and, to encounter. Love this game. Highly recommend getting it. Just know that it's not the biggest table hog game we have, but it's definitely up there.
There's a lot of cards.
There's a lot of cards. There's a lot of boards. There's my player board, his player board, and then there's a shared board as well. So, but still, I highly recommend getting this game if you can find it or if you can just play it somewhere at a convention. Definitely. It's a good one.
All right, so that's our games that start with the letter E. What are some of your favorite games that start with the letter E?
Yeah, let us know, because maybe that's something that we want to try that we hadn't thought about.
Absolutely. So until next time, I'm Onezie.
I'm Elusive Bigfoot. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.